Welcome to StockInvest.us weekly podcast. Today is Monday, which means we are ahead of a new and hopefully good week of trading. Today we will discuss the important events for the markets this week, analyze last week's performance, and speak about 5 trending stocks. At the end of the video, you will find some ideas for your watch list. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching this video. If it will be helpful, please like it and share it with those to whom this information may be relevant. And now, let's get started. Before we start, please note that the content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. We encourage all listeners to do their own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. So, last week, U.S. stocks saw their first significant rally of 2023 on Friday, ending the week higher, following the release of December employment data which showed a slowdown in wage growth. Investors interpreted this as a potential indication that Federal Reserve officials may slow their rate hiking efforts. The S&P 500 jumped 2.3%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average added 700 points or 2.1%. The technology-heavy Nasdaq Composite surged 2.6%. All 3 major averages were on pace to end the week with losses before Friday's gains. Crude oil's price was also up 2.81%, and now it is $75.84. As for the price of gold, it also rose by 0.49% to $1,878.90. The put-call ratio is at a current level of 0.91. Let's see how this week's events will change the market's mood. And now, let's talk more about the upcoming trading week. This week's main highlights are U.S. inflation figures and the start of corporate earnings season. The Federal Reserve's decision on the size of its next interest rate hike may be influenced by inflation data for December, while corporate earnings will provide valuable information on the state of the economy amid concerns of a possible slowdown. The U.S. Consumer Price Index for December will be released on Thursday, January 12th. For December, it is anticipated that the headline Consumer Price Index will drop to plus 6.7% from plus 7.1% in November and will increase by 0.1% on a month-over-month basis. Core CPI is predicted to rise by 5.6% and increase by 0.2% month-over-month. Bank of America expects that core goods and energy prices will have decreased again in December, but food inflation and core services inflation will remain more resistant to change. These numbers are very important as they will influence the Fed's strategy. Analysts believe that Federal Reserve will hike interest rates by 50 points in February and another 25 points in March before going on hold at a terminal rate of 5.0% to 5.25%. We will find out how it will actually happen on January 31st to February 1st at the Fed's next policy meeting. The most important day will be Friday, January 13th, as Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Bank of America, and J.P. Morgan will release their reports. Healthcare titan United Health Group, asset manager BlackRock, and Delta Airlines will join them. Important data is expected in the Eurozone as well. On Friday, Germany is going to publish an estimate of annual GDP growth. It will show the impact of the energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine on the largest economy in Europe. For all those who closely follow the UK economy, Friday will also be an important day because the November GDP figures will be released. The country is expected to experience a prolonged recession. In response to rising price pressures and higher borrowing costs, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to cut inflation in half, boost the economy, reduce public debt, and reduce health service waiting lists. However, analysts at Deutsche Bank expect high inflation to continue this year, with no rate cuts until 2024 and fiscal policies becoming more stringent. Analysts at Barclays predict that the UK economy will continue to contract until the end of the third quarter of 2023. Well, we clearly understood which day will be the most important this week. What an interesting Friday the 13th awaits us. Let's move a little away from the upcoming events and talk about 5 trending stocks on everyone's lips, which you most often search for on StockInvest.us. Just type a ticker name on the search. Tesla, which had been facing challenges, recovered from a loss of up to 7% earlier in the day after reducing prices in China following a decline in deliveries in December. The stock ended the day up 2.5%. On the last trading day, the volume of shares traded increased, with 73 million more traded than before. In total, 220 million shares were traded, amounting to $24.85 billion. This is a positive technical sign indicating that the stock price will continue to rise. Bed Bath & Beyond, or BBDY, saw its stock drop another 22.5% on Friday after announcing the previous day that the company was considering bankruptcy due to a lack of cash. However, the company should be watched closely since it will release its earnings tomorrow, January 10th. Biogen's stock closed 2.8% higher after the FDA granted accelerated approval for a new Alzheimer's drug developed by the biotech company and its partner Japanese firm Eisai. A buy signal was issued from a pivot bottom point on Wednesday, January 4, 2023, and so far, it has risen 3.12%. Further rise is indicated until a new top pivot has been found. Volume is rising along with the price. This is considered to be a good technical signal. Some negative signals were issued as well. That's why our recommended stop loss is $265.29 or minus 5.00%. On Friday, the stock price of MULN Automotive fell by 9.59% from $0.418 to $0.378. However, interest remains high around this stock. MULN's upcoming $90 million payout of preferred stock over Q1 has excited many investors. MULN seems to be a highly speculative stock in a challenging economic environment. Investors should keep an eye on it since the stock has very high daily movements and is considered very high risk. Our recommended stop loss is $0.360 or minus 4.82%. And last but not least, Apple stock. On Friday, January 6th, the Apple stock price rose 3.68% from $125.02 to $129.62. The analysts maintained their recommendation and set a target price of $210 due to Apple's strong financial standing, which should allow the company to invest in growth and increase shareholder returns through share repurchases and dividend increases. Share in the comments what tickers you are tracking. Did they agree with the majority? As promised at the beginning, a few words about the 3 stocks that can be added to the watch list this week. First of all, Tesla. The RSI indicates that this stock is currently oversold, and the trend appears to be turning upwards. There is a good chance that Tesla stock will perform well this week due to natural correction. Advanced Micro Devices. The AMD stock lies in the lower part of a very wide and strong rising trend in the short term, and this may typically pose a very good opportunity. In the last 100 trades, there were 4.5 million shares bought and 2.98 million shares sold. A large number of stocks bought compared to stocks sold indicates that the insiders believe there is a potential good upside. But you should remember that in some cases, larger purchases can be explained by the due date for stock options. Anyway, a buy signal was issued from a pivot bottom point on Thursday, January 5, 2023, and so far, it has risen 2.62%. Further rise is indicated until a new top pivot has been found. The third candidate is Imperial Oil Limited. The ticker name is EMO. This stock is not oversold if we check the RSI. It is currently moving up from the bottom of its trend, and we believe that the price of oil will likely increase this week. This could potentially have a positive impact on the performance of the EMO. Overall, there is a good chance that the stock will do well this week. That's why it can be added to the watch list. It is essential to actively follow the fundamentals and news of a particular stock to make informed investment decisions. Keep an eye on the company's financial health, industry trends, and any relevant information or events that may impact the stock price. Thanks for watching this video to the end. We hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave us a comment below or on our social media. We will be back next week with more analysis and insights, so stay tuned. In the meantime, have a nice green week. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. Using the information, you agree and are held liable for your investment decisions.